Time is 7:53. Time for the business from Connor.
Right, so there's a perception UK-based retailers here may refocus their energies on their domestic market as conditions become tougher, but they may in fact look to expand their euro area presence, so says property consultant Savills in its latest retail outlook. And Savills Director of Research John McCartney is with us now in studio. John, first of all, just ask, what is the retail outlook here?
Well, generally speaking, the mood music is very positive. Virtually every dial on the consumer economy dashboard is pointing in the right direction. So if we were going to have a convulsive event like Brexit, now wasn't a bad time to have it.
In terms of the figures that you monitor as you put together the outlook, I notice one of the indicators is footfall on Grafton Street, traditionally seen as Ireland's premier shopping street, particularly in terms of property values. It's down though year on year. What's happening there?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. The footfall figures are captured by cameras. So the cameras, there are 2 cameras on Grafton Street and they pick up pedestrian movements going by. And as you correctly say, there has been a negative year on year growth in Grafton Street footfall, and we think that's probably down to the Lewis works. There was also paving work going on the street last year as well. So a combination of those factors, we think.
On Grafton Street, and indeed on pretty much any shopping street in Ireland now, you'll see a proliferation of the big UK high street names. Your view is that despite what's happening in their home market, that actually having a presence here and elsewhere throughout the Eurozone is going to be a good thing, is going to be actually more important for them?
Yes. Well, in the past, we have seen that when the UK economy got into trouble, UK retailers adopted a sort of an introverted posture and focused on the domestic market, often at the expense of the Irish branches. And indeed, we saw in the past that UK retailers rationalised and contracted in Ireland. But we don't think that that's going to happen this time, particularly because of the big exchange rate movement. 3 weeks ago, a UK retailer was only getting 76p for every euro worth of goods that they sold in Ireland. Today, they're getting 86p. So they're getting that exchange rate dividend that's going to flow right through onto their bottom line.
On the flip side of that, though, if you were a UK retailer and you had potentially been looking at expanding in Ireland, it's going to be more expensive for you now. Might you not look to maybe put those plans on ice?
Well, I think it depends on how much of their cost base they can get in sterling. Certainly, the benefits of selling in euro are outweighed to some extent if you're also incurring your costs in euro. But if they can manage their supply chain such that their costs are being sourced in the UK, then I think they're onto a winner.
Looking at footfall here, and again the exposure to the UK market, 40% of visitors here now come from the UK. That's up from 28% as recently as 2012. Presumably that has a big impact on retail.
Absolutely, and we see a strong correlation actually between retail sales and the tourism figures. So particularly in Dublin and certainly on Grafton Street, you definitely see that relationship.
John McCartney, Director of Research at Savills, thanks for coming into us this morning. Finally, for now, the euro buys 85.3 pence sterling, as we've just been saying, and $1 US, 10.5 cents.
Conor, thank you.